Do you play a little guitar? Would you like to learn how to play the guitar? How about learning rock guitar from a rock god? Would you like to learn how to play like this? Well, that's just a walk in the park for the rock guitar teacher we're going to speak to. I believe we're going to speak to him on the program when we return here on Phil Hulett and Friends. All right, we're going to have some fun, musically speaking, here on Phil Hulett and Friends. Thanks for tuning in. Our next guest takes me back to my early days on the radio as a heavy metal music DJ on Pure Rock 105.5 KNAC in Long Beach, California. And one of my first interviews was with a young guy, a Guitar Institute of Technology grad, an absolute shredder in a new band at the time called Racer X. And later on, he was in a group, you may recall, Mr. Big. And he's one of the premier guitarists in the world. Maybe you caught him on tour in 2007 on the G3 tour with fellow guitar gods Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. His name is Paul Gilbert, and he joins us live. Paul, a pleasure to speak with you for a second or third time, which I'll expand on in a moment. But hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. We've both survived the decades. It's a glorious thing.
It certainly is. I'll never forget when I interviewed you on KNAC back in the day. You brought your guitar and a small amp, and you blew me away with your playing. And I asked a stupid question. How do you do that? And using one word that provided so much clarity, do you remember what you said to answer me?
Orange juice?
No, it was not two words. It was one. You said practice. And it said, okay, great. That I immediately knew I will never be able to play guitar, and perhaps we'll remedy that in a moment because we want to get to your online guitar lessons shortly. But I want to relive one KNAC story with you. Not only was I a DJ, but I was a sales guy, and I used to come up with all these ridiculously odd promotional ideas for my clients. And one of my clients was a NASCAR-style speedway in Saugus, California. Do you remember this?
I think I do. Some kind of demolition derby or something?
Yeah, it ended up being like that. Yeah. I convinced you and your bandmates in Racer X, the members of another famous hard rock metal band, Armored Saint, and a couple of other bands, some glam rock bands, to pick a member of their band, get into a stock car, and race 3 or 4 laps on the oval. And Paul, there was no way you were getting behind the wheel, right?
No, well, I didn't have enough practice.
Yeah, exactly. And so, if I recall accurately, the drummer for Armored Saint ended up winning the race, but he also scraped the guardrail with the car a bunch of times. And all the cars were borrowed from local racers. And there was some paperwork signed and something to do with fixing anything that broke, so it got a little ugly after the fact. You were removed from those conversations, Paul, of course, but it was cool just the same. It was fun to watch, and we packed the place full of metalheads, and that was great fun. Now, that story aside, let's fast forward to today. Tell me about ArtistWorks. This sounds great. What is it, and how did you come to be involved with it?
Well, it's an online music learning website that actually covers a lot of different styles of guitar, but also they do everything from classical violin or all kinds of different things. And I'm the rock teacher. Keith Wyatt, who's you're going to be talking to as soon as the blues teacher. And I've been doing it for about nearly 3 years. And of course, I've been teaching guitar in a variety of ways for a long time. I gave private lessons. I taught at GIT back in the 80s. I've made instructional DVDs. I've done guitar clinics. But this is really the best thing I've done. It's also the thing I put the most time and energy into. And it really allows me to listen to and get to know I call them students, but really they're just other players online. And so we really get to be friends with each other, and that's the best thing, is I really get to know the people. It's not like I give a lesson and then I'm off to another city and forget everybody.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that a guy of your stature is willing to give back, and I don't know if you see that a lot, but it's just special to know that somebody of your stature and skill can sit down and teach somebody a couple of licks on the guitar. So when people go to this ArtistWorks website, artistworks.com, what do people do? What do they see when they log in? Do you teach them to shred? I mean, are you there live?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of free lessons, but it is a subscription. It's pretty cheap though, like $1 a day, I think. And compared to if you took a private lesson with me, it'd be a lot cheaper than that. So it's a pretty good deal. And as soon as you get into the site, there's a full video course that I've made that's ready to go. But the main thing is that the site operates with something called a video exchange, where as soon as you're into the site, anybody can send in a video of yourself playing, and I'll watch it and listen to it, and then I respond with a video of my own. Those are paired together, and those are put on the site, and for, of course, the person that I'm answering, but also anybody in the site can see it. So, conceivably, when I teach one person, I teach 1,000. And since I started the site, my own site 3 years ago, I've done over 2,500 of these videos, which is a lot.
Man, and so it would take you a long time to get through 2,500 of those. And
well, fortunately, there's a search feature, so you can go in and find anything that you're looking for in the archives. But really, the thing that's best is that it's living and breathing. It's not just something that I did and then I'm on the site every day. I'm listening to guitar players every day and really enjoying it. I mean, I'd never put in this much work if I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just another way to communicate with other musicians.
Sounds like if I do this, Paul Gilbert, I would have to practice.
I think I might have changed my philosophy a little bit, because practicing has the connotation that it's not enjoyable. And looking at my own playing over the years, I realized that the thing allowed me to, quote, practice is that I loved it so much. And I loved the sound of it, and I loved, playing songs. And so, there are people that have the practicing mindset, and they get some, good feelings about all the work that they did. But I'd rather have it be fun. So yeah. I try to make it like that as much as possible.
Right. And we played some of your licks before when we took the break, and it sounds like technical stuff. It can be technical. Some of the arpeggios and solos that you do, and maybe I just want to learn a little blues guitar, 3-4 chords and a turn every here and there. And you indicated that you have a guy on the line with you as well who teaches the blues guitar, and I believe his name is Keith Wyatt. And Keith, are you there? Are you dialed in?
Would be me, yeah.
Well, that's good. So I could, as opposed to becoming a rock metal guitar god who shreds on stage, and I just want to sit and impress my friends and play a little blues, you're the guy, right?
Well, I can certainly help you in that direction, although as Paul and I agree, the two worlds are more alike than they are different, and it's just a matter of kind of, picking and choosing your path through music. And certainly blues is a path that a lot of people start with, and at the same time one people come to after a number of years and find that it's just a beautiful thing. So yeah, I'm happy to be able to provide my experience.
Well, that's good. So how many lessons, Keith, before I become proficient enough to sit down and play a couple of blues songs for my friends?
Well, the way I look at blues is it's kind of like learning chess. You can learn how to make the moves in an afternoon, and then you spend the rest of your life trying to figure out how to play the game, So it's a matter of kind of your own interest level and how much time you have to devote to it. And like any skill, you got to do it a number of times to make it automatic and make it feel like you're playing music rather than kind of watching your fingers do mechanical tricks. But I would say you can learn to play a blues very quickly. I mean, starting from scratch in a matter of days, if you devote yourself to it, but then it just goes on forever.
Right. Well, Keith, I think, at least for our guest co-host today, Gonzo Greg Spillane, who was served his fourth set of divorce papers on New Year's Eve, probably has the mindset to sing and write a couple of good lyrics for the blues. Greg, do you play guitar at all?
Well, no, my dad is a fairly decent blues player, though. So, yeah.
Maybe it's about time you looked at your life and picked up a guitar.
With, da-na-na-na-na, and then you make the statement, right?
Yeah.
There's this something bad happened. Then you restate the bad thing that happened.
Yeah.
And then you say what you're going to do or what is going to happen next. I believe is the framework for most blues.
Right. Somebody's going to drink or die. more or less.
Outcomes, although you can turn it in a more positive direction should you choose.
Oh, blues with a positive direction. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Okay, so give us guys, give us a thumbnail now. Again, the website is ArtistWorks.com. You say you get a couple of free lessons in there for signing up, but then it works out to like $50 or $60 a month. Is that it?
Even less.
Less than that. Yeah.
Oh, like half that, like $30 a month?
Yeah, and actually, I think there's things where if you sign up for a longer period of time, it's even discounted. So,
yeah.
If I was starting it, I'd probably do a short time just to check it out, and then once I'm addicted to the music and the process of it, then you can get on for longer. But there's all the details are on the site.
Yeah, and music is really therapeutic, regardless of your age. You learn how to play an instrument. You sit down, you spend some time with your instrument, and play some music just for yourself, by yourself. It does you a whole lot of good, and you might create something wonderful as well. Keith Wyatt and Paul Gilbert, what a thrill to speak with you both on our first show of the new year. And we're going to send everybody to ArtistWorks.com. We'll add it to our links page at PhilHulettandFriends.com. Thank you, gentlemen, and rock on and blues it up, baby.
Thank you.
Is that what the kids say? All right. Blues it up, baby.
No, nobody has ever said that.
No one has ever said that?
That was all you, Phil.
Okay, good.